Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to A Bite of Brownie. It has been raining all day long today. It's been an absolute flood and I wanted to get out earlier in the day and make this video, but it just has not happened. But it's finally lightened up. I'm gonna take the boys for a walk. What happened to this question? I've been meaning to ask it for a couple of weeks, but it keeps getting pushed back. Either the weather's not right or I'm not ready for the answer, honestly, to share this answer with everybody. It's kind of a complex question, but we're gonna tackle it here today. Logan Marshall, 54, asked this. There's a song called Wrong Side of Heaven by Five Finger Death Punch, and in the song they ask the question of, as a soldier who has taken lives for his country, are you on the wrong side of heaven or the righteous side of hell? Anyway, I know a lot of military personnel probably struggle with this, and seeing as you're both, I'm former military, former Air Force, and as a pastor, maybe you could share your views. P.S. The video is amazing, it really touched me. Thank you, Logan Marshall. The question is basically this: what would you say to a military personnel who has had to take lives in the battlefield? Where do they stand with God? Let's boil it down. Here's what you want to know. Where do you stand with God? You've had to take lives for your country. You've had to take lives for different reasons, different purposes. Where do you stand with the Almighty? How does He feel about you? Well, I think it's fairly safe to say He's never changed His standpoint with humanity. He loves humanity. However, we're a sinful, wicked people who keep on messing up. We keep on finding reasons to partner with demonic to separate ourselves from Him. And He has sent His Son to bridge the gap. He sacrificed Himself for our sins so we could exchange our unrighteousness for His righteousness. To more directly address this issue, how does God feel about taking lives? I think we already know the answer to that. I think the tough part is to get a new viewpoint, to get a new perspective on how we look at things. Whenever I was in the military, I always viewed it from a standpoint of a human standpoint, a human perspective. It was a nation warring against a nation. And when my nation called upon me to serve, I would do whatever was in the interest of my nation. And all of the judgment of God would fall upon the nation of which I served. And I think a lot of soldiers fall into that category. However, I'm not sure that that suffices as an answer. Because whenever I stand before the throne of grace, I want to go there with His righteousness, not my own. I want to go there. Guys, you're interrupting the video. To be continued. Dockety! There we go. Alright, I'm absolutely lost in where I was in the storytelling part of this, but if you're on the wrong side of heaven or the righteous side of hell, you're still in the same place. I mean, if you think about it, wrong side of heaven, righteous side of hell, you're still absent from walking in the will of God for your life. And why would you want to be anywhere else? If you're absent of heaven, to say if your name is not written in the Lamb's Book of Life, you lost. You didn't miss, maybe you missed by an inch, maybe you missed by a mile. It doesn't matter. If Jesus doesn't know who you are, if He doesn't know your name, if He isn't walking with you, if He isn't inside of your life, then what's the point? All that to say, is there redemption for somebody who has killed? I mean, come on, guys. That's what Jesus is all about. That's what Christianity is all about. He's all about taking the sin that we've committed and washing us as clean and as white as snow. That's what He's all about. I think where this question is really headed, though, is how does God feel? What is God's perspective on people who have to take lives? And I think God's been pretty clear about how He feels about life. He loves all life. He values it highly, immensely. He values an unborn baby just as much as he values a person passing away on a bed. He's with them every step of the way. It matters to God. Even when nation goes to war against nation, it matters to God. Your heart matters to God. Prior to the Holy Spirit indwelling our hearts, He had to write a couple of things down on tablets so that His nation, His people, would know what He's like and what He values. One of those things was, do not murder. Do not kill. Thou shalt not murder. He cares. Every life is important. He cares about your heart. And His people, they're not life takers. They're life bringers. The best way I can think to illustrate this point is, have you ever seen two kids whenever they're trying to discipline one another? It gets aggressive, they fight back and forth, they say, "Nuh-uh, this is what we're supposed to do, nuh-uh, I don't want to do that," and they start to hit and fight and steal, and that's what happens in this world whenever two nations go to war, whenever a man tries to discipline one another, whenever I get at odds with my brother. We fight, we fight, we bicker, we wrestle, we hurt one another, and we do it from our perspective of, that's mine, I want that, you don't get that, you shouldn't have that, this is what the rules are, this is what Daddy says, and they have no grid. But it's a different story whenever Daddy steps into the room. They do their disciplining out of anger, out of jealousy, out of fear, all of those motives, which is the human perspective. But when Daddy walks into the room, Daddy executes his judgment from a place of love. When Daddy walks in the room, he's the only one who can do so from a place of love. Whenever he punishes or whenever he disciplines from a father's perspective. He says, "That's enough, son." He can spank, he can hug, he can separate, he can execute his justice as only he knows how. The children's perspective will be skewed, will be self-serving. The father's perspective will be one of love. I think we need the father's perspective. Is there forgiveness for someone who has killed? Yes, indeed there is. Is it the desire of God that there is killing, that there are people, that there are his kids killing one another? He does not enjoy that. He said that time and time and time again. It's actually a part of the devil's scheme and a part of this fallen world. He's come to steal, take from you, to kill what we're talking about today, and to destroy. It's what he does. It's not who God is. It's not a part of his nature. It's not a part of his character. I think to find the answer to this question, we have to change our perspectives. All right, that's gonna do it for us today, guys. Head on over to Joshua's channel. I think it's above my head. Head on over to Joshua's channel. I cannot wait to see how he answered this question today. We're also gonna find out what the question for today is. Tune in tomorrow, 8 a.m. We'll be back over here answering questions. I love you, and I will see you in the next one. I'm out. Hey Joshua, you ever vlogged with a full-on tripod? Oh, I'm not entirely sure that I answered that question today. Full disclosure, guys, I gave it my best shot. I kicked the can down the road for a couple of days, trying to just pray about it, get some better perspective, but my best stab at it.